Good morning, dear children. Welcome back. Hope you all are doing good. Hope you all have had your breakfast so that you are all energized and ready to study for the next class, which is this class. So, as told before, today we are going to discuss all these programs, wage employment and self-employment programs launched by the government over the years. Let's start doing it without wasting any time. The first, okay, today right now we are doing self-employment programs. We are starting with self-employment programs, SEPs. The one of the first self-employment programs launched by the government, or we are just doing it in the sequence which is given in the book. So rural employment generation program, rural areas employment generation program, whatever it requires to take generate employment, the program aimed at that. And it was actually launched in 1995. It was launched by Khadi and Village Industries Commission. Khadi, we also write it KVI. Khadi and Village Industries Commission. This is a commission already working in the country. You can see the website also. They are all working for the poor people of the country. Village industries means industries which are located in the rural area. And I think the maximum investment of such an industry, fixed capital investment, is I think just 1 lakhs. This is what I suppose. Yes. So khadi, you all know, the hand spun, hand woven cloth. So this program was actually launched by Khadi. It was implemented by Khadi and Village Industries Commission, and this was to create self-employment opportunities in both rural areas and small towns. It covers rural areas and small towns, and this program, under this program, one could get financial help to set up small industries in the form of bank loans, and bank loans will be at low interest rates. So under this program, people can avail bank loans at low interest rates, and they can set up some small industries whichever they are skilled in. The program actually aimed at generating 2 million jobs under KVI sector, under Khadi and Village Industries sector. It aimed at generating 2 million jobs. Village industries, mostly they are handicrafts. It involves all the handicrafts which can be produced by the rural people. Handicrafts can include anything, any craft where they use their hands, where they make it manually. It can be sometimes they get orders from the large industries and all to make sports items also, such as balls or maybe any little footballs and all. Also cloth, also what else they are making, everything that can be made from hand, many kind of dresses, many kind of toys. So the list is actually very long. So it aimed at generating 2 million jobs under KVI sector, that is Khadi and Village Industries. The second Yojana launched by the government is Prime Minister's Rozgar Yojana, and I think this Yojana was launched earlier than REGP, Rural Employment Generation Program. This Yojana was, I think it was launched in the year 1993. Please write it somewhere because this is not mentioned in your book. The year is not mentioned, I suppose. So, okay, what is the difference here? As this is also a self-employment generation program, it will also provide people bank loans at low interest rates. But here, under this program, the major beneficiaries will be educated unemployed. Okay, there are a lot of youth in the country who have got skills, but they do not have funds to start with something. They are all skilled in something or the other art or craft, but they do not have knowledge, or actually they do lack funds to go about it. So under this program, all those educated unemployed from rural and urban areas, both, this program covers both rural and urban areas, unlike Rural Employment Generation Program, which was solely covering rural areas. Under this program, It is not the case. So this program is for those educated unemployed youth in rural and urban areas who can start something on their own by, you know, giving them financial assistance, again in the form of bank loans. They can start some industries, they can start some service or any business routes. They can go through any route. Also, it aimed at providing employment for 7 lakh micro enterprises during this eighth plan. I show you. So let us see it in the book. PMRY attempted to generate employment by setting up 7 lakh micro enterprises during the eighth 5-year plan, 1992 to 97. And by 2003 and 4, 3 million people got employment under the scheme. So the program was actually very successful, and people were given financial help to set up any kind of enterprise that generates employment. I have mentioned some here, like, you know, it can be through industries, it can be through services. They want to provide, can be any kind of service which they find themselves eligible to provide in the society, or it can be some business routes. If they want to open some petty shop, they can all apply under this program. Okay. Later, both these programs, REGP and PMRY, were combined, and it became this PM, Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program. So if we remove R from here and RY from here, we get PMEGP, Prime Minister from here, Prime Minister, and Employment EGP from here, Employment Generation Program. So PMEGP was the program started in 2008. In this book, it is given 1st April, but I think it was, so far I have read about it, it was announced on the Independence Day by the Prime Minister of the country that we will be launching this PMEGP, Prime Minister Employment Generation Program, which combines the already two existing programs, which merged these two existing programs, which is REGP and PMRY. So they came up with this, and it was launched by Ministry of MSME. MSME is micro, small and medium enterprise. This is also one of the very good topics to be considered for your project work. We will have a big discussion, detailed discussion on the project work, but please make sure that you all come up with really brilliant topics with real research on those topics, which is exclusively your own work. So the aim of this program was to generate employment opportunities, again because it merged both these programs, so rural and urban areas both are included, through setting up of new self-employment ventures. It brings together widely dispersed traditional artisans, all these people who know some kind of art, and they also these unemployed youth, and to give them self-employment opportunities at their places. This program is being run by KVIC only, Khadi and Village Industries Commission. So they are running it very successfully. A lot of people are registered under it, and it is going well. Next is Swarn Jayanti Shehri Rozgar Yojana. Shehri, so it relates to urban areas. SJSRY, Swarn Jayanti Shehri Rozgar Yojana. This program is actually funded on a sharing basis. All those which have the title Prime Minister, they are all central government sponsored program. This is also centrally sponsored, but here 75% funds are given by the center, and state governments also share it on a 25% basis. So 75:20, on a ratio of 75:25, it is a centrally sponsored scheme, but between the center and the states. Also under this program, they made the target that we will be covering 30% only women. Means out of the total beneficiaries under this program, 30% of the beneficiaries must be women. Let us help them self-employed, because they know a lot of skills, but they're deprived of the funds to start their own ventures. So 30% women beneficiaries were the target, and again, how this program is different from PMEGP and all. This is actually, again, education is actually not a limit under this program, but here, as Prime Minister's Rozgar Yojana was for educated unemployed, here the people who are qualified beyond ninth class, they are usually not considered under this program, because then they come in under that category of educated unemployed youth of the country as per the government. So they can register themselves under PMEGP. So this is usually not for those who are beyond ninth class qualified. Let us read in the book. SJSRY mainly aims at creating employment opportunities for both self-employment and wage employment in urban areas. So this clause is also special to only this program. It provides both self and wage employment opportunities. It seeks to provide gainful employment through encouraging the setting up of self-employment ventures, or it also provides wage employment. Centrally sponsored scheme, I've told you. This picture, SJSRY, Sohan Jayanti Shahri Rozgar Yojana, encourages urban unemployed and underemployed poor to set up self-employment ventures. Okay, but the program only aims at urban poor. And the program was launched in 1997. But later, it was realized, it was found by the government that people are taking these bank loans under these programs, but they are not utilizing the bank loans for the stated purpose. They are not still employed under these programs. They are not using the money for the right purpose. They are not self-employed. They have not started anything yet. So after this SJSRY, government actually changed its approach of providing this money to these people, to the poor people. And from 1999, this self-employment program was launched, which is actually important as it is different from the rest of the above, which is called Swarn Jayanti Gram Swarozgar Yojana. Swarozgar is self-employment and Gram relates to rural areas only. So SGSY, Swarn Jayanti Gram Swarozgar Yojana, SGSY aims at promoting micro enterprises and to bring the assisted poor families, Sarozgaris, above the poverty line by organizing them into self-help groups. So under this program, government changed its approach since 1990s through this program, and it came up with an idea that first these rural people would have to help themselves by organizing into self-help groups. You must have read about self-help groups in 10th class if you're able to recall. So self-help groups, people usually generally people, and in particular women, actually they are the real beneficiaries of self-help groups. Lakhs of self-help groups are operating in our country, and the self-help groups, the concept is usually more successful in southern India. What actually women are doing, they are making a group of maybe 20 to 25 women of the same neighborhood, and they contribute petty savings, whatever they can do. Like even if all of them are contributing 1,000 rupees every month, they are able to generate, if 20 of them contribute 1,000 rupees, so they are able to generate 20,000 rupees at once, and that 20,000 can be given to any one woman for that month that they will decide. And the woman will tell the purpose, so that woman will start something of its own. Maybe they will buy a cow out of it, and they will get into dairy farming, or push cart vendor they can become, or they can do some stitching, or maybe cooking food for outsiders, or it can be anything. In whatever skill you have, in whatever field you have got some skills, it can be any work. So people are encouraged by the government under this program to organize yourselves into self-help groups, save money yourselves and lend among yourselves as very small loans. And later, if banks find them eligible in their lending and saving operations regular, if banks find them regular, you can see it here. Through the later, through banks, the government provides partial financial assistance to these SHGs, which then decide then banks decide whom the loan is to be given for self-employment activities. So this way they will not waste the money, because after a year or so only, when they become regular in their lending operations among themselves, banks give them loan. So then they are sure that their loan will be used for the right purpose. So SHGs, please define SHGs, self-help groups, and define, this is how you can define also, that the groups which are encouraged to save money and lend among themselves as small loans, then they become eligible for bank loan for self-employment activities, are called SHGs. So this program has now been restructured as National Rural Livelihoods Mission, NRLM. You should be knowing the full form. And a similar program for urban areas is called National Urban Livelihoods Mission, NULM, has also been in place for urban poor. So these were all self-employment programs. First, Rural Employment Generation Program, REGP, started in 1995. Then we had PMRY, started in 1993. Then both of them were merged together in 2008, REGP and PMRY, and became PMEGP. And then Swan Jayanti Shahri Rozgar Yojana, it was in 1997, SJSRY. And finally we had Swan Jayanti Gram Swarozgar Yojana, and it is different from the rest of the others, as it contains the concept of self-help groups, and it was started in 1999. So these were the 4 major self-employment programs launched in the country by the government. And now coming to wage employment programs, where the government itself is providing work to the poor people, and in return the poor people are earning wages. Okay, when the wages are distributed, these wages are distributed as per the set minimum wage rate. And minimum wage rate, the level of wage rate fixed in different states is different in India. And as far as, so far I think Haryana has got the highest minimum wage rate level around maybe it was 2 years back, it was around 249, and Odisha has got the lowest minimum wage rate in the country. So as per there are so many factors which decide the minimum wage rates for that particular state, like the prices of essential commodities in that area, the cost of living in that area, and the kind of work also what people are doing. So let us see what the first wage employment program launched by the government, which is Sampoorna Gramin Rozgar Yojana, SGRY. You should be knowing the full form of all these abbreviations: SGRY, SJSRY, which was Swan Jayanti Shahri Rozgar Yojana, SGSY, which is Swan Jayanti Gram Swarozgar Yojana, and this is Sampoorna Gramin Rozgar Yojana. As it reads, the scheme aims to provide additional and supplementary wage employment. Wage employment is employment will be provided by the government, and in return they will get wages by undertaking labor intensive work. The kind of work which will be provided, which will be allotted, which will be allocated to the rural poor who register themselves under these programs would be manual unskilled work. Obviously, it is not some skilled work. It is just manual unskilled labor required for the development of their particular area. So the scheme aims to provide additional employment by undertaking labor intensive work, which requires less use of machines and more use of your body labor, thereby providing food security and increasing nutritional levels. Under this program, wages were paid both in cash as well as kind. In kind means food grains were also distributed. So wages were paid as a combination of food grains and cash. So it was launched in 2001. I have written the year here, by Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee. You can note it down. Just make the notes of all these yojanas in your register in points form so that it is easy to remember. Okay, the scheme of Sampoorna Gramin Rozgar Yojana, it is open to all rural poor who need wage employment and who desire to do manual and unskilled work in and around their village or habitat. So anybody who wants to register themselves from the rural poor only, who wants to register themselves under this program, they can, and they can get wage employment to do manual unskilled labor. As you can see here, initially government allocated the budget of rupees 10,000 crore on the scheme, 10,000 crore, which included 50 lakh tons of food grains, because wages were paid both in cash as well as kind. So 50 lakh tons of food grains were allocated for the scheme, and the remaining amount was all to be paid in cash in terms of wages. Again, this is also here, also the expenditures are maintained in 75 is to 25 ratio by both central government and state government. Central government will be distributing all these food grains for free, but the cost of transportation, I have written here, the cost of transportation would be borne by the state governments. The cost of transporting these food grains from the central government to different states throughout the country, this cost will be borne by the state government. So this is, otherwise the scheme was launched by Prime Minister, and the majority of expenditure is all borne by central government. So this was Sampoon Gramin Rozgar Yojana. That Sampoon is entire. So for entire rural area, people anywhere, they can register themselves under the scheme, and wish, if they want to do manual and unskilled labor, they can get employment under this program. Okay, next was National Food for Work Program, NFFWP. It was launched in 2004 with the objective of intensifying, means just to increase, just to enhance the generation of supplementary wage employment, to create more wage employment in the country. Any district which was not covered under Sampoon Gramin Rozgar Yojana, or the people who were not covered under that Yojana, now they can be covered under this Yojana. So National Food for Work Program, it means you work and we'll provide you food to improve your nutritional levels. This program was launched, National Food for Work Program, in 2004. The year is important. For this program, the year is important as it is the only year given in your book. So you should be knowing. So it was launched in 2004 with the objective of intensifying the generation of supplementary wage employment in the country. Okay, initially it was implemented in 150 most backward districts of the country. And these districts, they are identified by the Planning Commission in consultation with Ministry of Rural Development and the state governments, the most backward districts. And a lot of factors play a role in identifying the backward districts in the area, their agricultural productivity being one major factor. So Planning Commission identified 150 most backward districts in the country, and in those 150 most backward districts, I think 15 of them, 10% districts are there in Bihar only. So 15 of them were in Bihar only. So NFFWP, it was only implemented in 150 most backward districts to provide additional resources apart from the resources available under Sampoon Gramin Rozgar Yojana. This program was implemented as a 100% centrally sponsored scheme. It was whenever, even if the government changes after 5 years and something like that, central government will have to bear the responsibility of running this scheme. This program, okay, now this program is no longer there under this name. It is everything. Even Sampoon Gramin Rozgar Yojana also was subsumed, that is what it was incorporated under Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, MG Narega. This program NFFWP was also incorporated under Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. Earlier it was called it was called National Rural Employment Guarantee Program in 2005 when it was launched. Later, to pay a tribute to Mahatma Gandhi, this was prefixed, and the scheme came to be known as MG Narega, Mahatma Gandhi. Also, sometimes they call on TV and all Manrega. Like when you avoid G in between, so it is MNREGA, Manrega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. The scheme name itself says everything. in the entire nation in rural areas, the guarantee of employment is given by the government under this act. You will nowhere you will find this word guarantee in any other program. There is no guarantee of work being provided by the government in any other program, but in this program government guarantees its citizens that we will provide you enough work, and the guarantee is taken for 100 days every year, not just 1 year. Every year all those who register themselves under this act in this scheme, they will be provided 100 days of wage employment every year. Okay, MG Narega, it aims at enhancing the livelihood security of people, so that people can earn their livelihood, they can secure their income in rural areas only. Only rural areas are covered under this program. I tell you, this is the largest wage employment program running in the country, or this is the largest employment program running in the country as of now. This is something which is still going on, and every year in every budget government announces thousands of crores of allocation on this program, and thousands of and lakhs and crores of people are registered under this program, and they're earning their livelihood. You can also use this as a topic for your project. I think as of now I have suggested you a lot of topics. I don't know if you people are noting it down somewhere or not, but these are really very interesting topics to study further for your project work. Like, it has got a lot of content to be studied which is not covered usually in the books. In the books you will only get like open idea about the scheme. So the program aims at enhancing the livelihood security of people in rural areas by guaranteeing 100 days of wage employment in a financial year to a rural household whose adult members volunteer. It means they willingly do unskilled manual work. They are willing to do unskilled manual work. So the program actually aims at covering at least one able-bodied from every household. Able-bodied means the body which is able to provide labor services for the development of the economy. So the government aims that at least one member of from every household should be registered under in the rural areas. The ones who are poor only should be registered under this scheme. So this is very important. MG Narega is something which they ask you often. So this program is actually very important as it is still running, and it is the biggest employment providing program in the country, employment generating program in the country. So you should be knowing a complete note on this program. NFFWP is no longer there because it was incorporated in Narega only. So Narega, it guarantees 100 days of wage employment in a financial year to a rural household whose adult members volunteer to do unskilled work. And all those among the poor who are ready to work at the minimum wage. Everybody who is registered under this program, they will be earning what? The minimum wage, which is fixed for their state. Wage rates are fixed, and there is no conflict or there is no everyday decision taking place over the wage rates. They are fixed in the states, and they are paid only those minimum wages. So they can report, all those who wish to do such work at the minimum wage, they can report for work in their areas where this program is implemented. In 2013-14, nearly 5 crore households got employment opportunities under this act. So this is what I was telling you. Every year, crores of people are getting benefits under this act in India. And they are doing a lot of work associated with obviously the development of their area. Let me show you some extra information I have just written here, so that in case if you want to note it down. But this you better note down. This is an important clause in this act. If government fails in its guarantee, unemployment allowance is provided. Like, government has guaranteed 100 days of wage employment, but government could not provide. So because the word guarantee is associated, so there has to be something given in return, because you could not fulfill your guarantee. So if the government is not able to provide 100 days of employment, and let us suppose it was just able to provide 70 days of employment in a year to a person who is registered under this act, so for the remaining 30 days that person will be given unemployment allowance. Unemployment allowances because he is unemployed, so government is giving him benefits because it is government's duty to provide employment in the country. As there is always scope of employment, like the scope of generating employment in the country never ends. Wherever there is scope of development, there is always a scope of generating employment. So when government is able to fulfill its guarantee, the money which is paid is called wages. But when the person is not working because he or she could not get work, then the money which is paid is called unemployment allowance. Then we don't refer to it as wages, as wages is something which is provided for some services in return. Wages are not provided for free, but unemployment allowance is a transfer income. It is provided for free. So whenever government is not able to fulfill its guarantee of providing 100 days of employment in a year, then it gives unemployment allowance to those people. Okay, this I already told you. The backward districts identified by the Planning Commission in consultation with the Ministry of Rural Development and the state governments. Later 200 districts were included, and then it was implemented across the country. So that is how this is the biggest running employment generating program in the country. Okay, these are, like, for example, I've just written down the kind of work which are provided to the people who register themselves under this act. This is the kind of work which is expected from them to do. Like, government engages them in water conservation activities, tree plantation and afforestation, land development, flood control which also includes like drainage, to prevent water clogging. So flood control is also there. Then rural connectivity should be there with the highways and with the towns, with the urban areas. So for that connectivity, all weather roads should be there. All weather roads means the roads which are working fine, which are functioning throughout the year. And even if it is rainy season, there should not be water clogging on the road. So that is how they build up all these activities under this program. So all the activities which are allocated to the people who register themselves, they are related to development. It is not like just pick up the mud from here because you registered yourself and keep that mud over there. It is not like that. The work provided should have some meaning, and it should lead to country's development. So this is the list. You can all write it and add it to the note under this act: water conservation, tree plantation, land development, flood control, rural connectivity in terms of all weather roads, etc. Also, there is no partiality in terms of wages. Both men and women, they enjoy equal wages. Whosoever is registered, irrespective of the gender, they enjoy equal wages. So if a man from Haryana and a woman from Haryana, both of them register themselves under this act and they are getting work, so in return they will be provided equal wages. It is not like that men are physically stronger, so they will be provided with more of wages. No. So this program also highlights gender equality by the government. So I believe this is a big step by the government in this area of gender equality. So we did 2 wage employment programs, Sampoorn Gramin Rozgar Yojana as well as National Food for Work program. If a short note is asked on National Food for Work program, then about NFFWP, it is written till here. And later it was subsumed in Narega only. So then you can explain Narega in detail if the weightage of the question is higher. So you can talk about Narega and NFFWP, no problem with that, because that only program was later became that program only became MG Narega later. Okay, this blue box is also important. This is only social security program given here. Social security is actually meant for the people who have nobody to take care of them. So government is running one program in the country under the name of National Social Assistance Program, NSAP. You should also be knowing the full form of NSAP, which is National Social Assistance Program. This program has often been asked as a one marker, and students have really not been able to answer this because they usually forget this program and all they're able to remember is wage employment and self-employment programs. So you can just put some symbol over there that this also has to be taken into consideration. So NSAP, it was initiated by the central government on 15th August 1995. Okay, children, I just did not realize that I am running ahead of time. I think your slot for economics ends here. So we will continue. The chapter requires just one more class and then we will be done with this chapter. I hope all of you have gone through the test I have given, for revision and for writing all the answers in the register. Please keep your registers complete. I will not take much time. I'll just see you in the next class. Take care. God bless you all.